Welcome, I'm Crystal. I'm an ambassador for Lululemon, and I'm here to show you how to use yoga blocks in your practice. So why we use the yoga blocks. The blocks are to give you more accessibility in your body. So whether you're working with tight hamstrings or your hips or even injury, the block's purpose is to lift the ground up to you and give you more accessibility and safety in your body so you can enjoy your yoga practice. Before you start your class, grab your 2 blocks. Over time, you're gonna learn about what your body needs, you're gonna learn about your limitations, and so this will set you up most comfortable in each pose. Right away, props go at the top. And this is so they're easy to access when you're in the poses. Now I'm gonna show you 5 poses that you can use your blocks to modify. First pose I'm going to teach you is Sukhasana. This is the seated meditation pose. Often it's cross-legged, and if your knees are above your hips, then you want to sit on your yoga block. So in the lowest setting, take a seat where your hips are elevated above your knees. The second yoga pose I'm going to teach you is Balasana. And Balasana is the child's pose. It's a very common pose that we practice in. It's a place to reconnect with your breath or just take a time out. This pose is knees wide, big toes touching, and your arms are reached out in front of you. Now what this can create is a bit of tension in the knees. So with your block, you can place it underneath your seat to elevate your hips to relieve a bit of the tension in the knees. And then your arms are reaching out in front of you and you bring your forehead down to the ground. Now, if that is too much for the shoulders or the chest, you can place a block underneath your forehead to give you a little bit more lift. Next pose is Trikonasana. This is the triangle pose, and it's a big hamstring opener. So often you're gonna find this pose coming into from Warrior 2, right? So Warrior 2, you're there, your knees bent, your arms are out. This is where Trikonasana would come to. So you're gonna straighten your front leg, and as you reach forward, hamstring's gonna engage. So hand to shin, or grab your yoga block and place it to the outside of your foot on the highest level. That's gonna give you the best release for the hamstring to start. And then over time, you might lower down to the next level and then eventually down to the lowest part of the block. And you got Trikonasana. Fourth pose is Pidgin, which is Ekapada Raja Kapotanasana, a mouthful of Sanskrit. And this pose is often taught through downward facing dog. So you're gonna plant your hands, get your hips high. The leg will lift up and you're gonna settle your left knee behind your wrists, bringing down both of your knees and your shins. Now, because this can bring a lot of pressure into the left knee and of course the tightness in the hips, the yoga block can be placed underneath your hip and you can lean into it a little bit. From there, your idea is that you bring your chest down low, but if this is too much, use your block underneath your forearms to keep your chest a little higher. Last pose is Shavasana, which is known as the corpse pose. So it's laying down on your back in complete stillness and relaxation. The place that can kind of be funny is in your low back. So we use the yoga blocks underneath your knees for the best support. So before you come down, you're gonna grab your yoga blocks, place them underneath your knees, a little bit wider than the hips. The legs are out. Make your way all the way down onto your back. Arms are open, so you can lie comfortable and still for the time that you have here. Thank you for joining me, and before I go, please remember that yoga isn't about flexibility of your body, it's ultimately about flexibility of your mind. So often we can feel intimidated going into a classroom and the students are super flexible, but remember that you can leave ego at the door, use your yoga blocks, support yourself as much as you need to for what your body needs so that you can have an amazing experience of your practice. Nailed it, right there. Cut.